Hey everybody, how's it going this evening? Happy Friday! It's finally Friday. It's finally Friday. Hey! I hope everybody is enjoying their day, even though it's almost basically over. But hopefully you're enjoying the start to your weekend. Come on in. Make sure you click the like button on your way in. Let me grab my little cup. Press the like button. Also make sure you subscribe if you are not already a subscriber. And please share my link, share my live, share my video to your social media platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. So, and matter of fact, yep, I did share. Okay, I shared on all my sites. Sometimes I forget. I be telling y'all to share, and I don't share myself. Hey, everybody peeping in from Instagram. I'm live on Instagram. I'm live on YouTube. Excuse me. And again, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Please share the video. We're going to be discussing something that has been trending lately over social media and on the news. And has been getting some support from some big celebrities as well. I don't know how much of you probably remember. Let's see, this is 2018. So 2004, that was like 14 years ago. Yeah, about 14 years ago. Okay. The story that we're going to be discussing today, if you're watching on my YouTube, you see the title of the video. But we're discussing this, well, I want to say little girl, but now she's actually, I believe, 20, let's see, that was 14 years ago. She was 16 in 2004, and now basically she's a whole grown woman. Her name is Cyntoia. I think I'm saying it right. Cyntoia Brown. And it's about a girl who was 16 years old. Her name is Cyntoia Brown. You can look it up. Search her name. Let me spell it for you. It's Cyntoia. Cyntoia Brown. Back in 2004, she was arrested for a murder of a John. She was a prostitute. And she was convicted for that murder, even though she claimed it was self-defense because she thought her life was in danger. She was sentenced to life at 16 years of age. And lately, as I was saying, a lot of big time celebrities have been trying to petition or, plead her case that she received clemency. Now, mind you, this happened in 2004. It's now 2018. I'm going to give you a little backstory on this for those of you who might not follow it. But again, those of you, most of you probably already know this story. I was talking to my youngest son today because sometimes I talk to him about, the subjects I be discussing on my lives, or try to get like recommendations for things that he might hear in social media or see in social media. And I asked him, do you know about this case? He's 17. And he was like, yeah, I remember that. And I'm looking at him like, okay, this happened in 2004. It's not like he actually remembers it because, of course, around that age, he was only a few years old. But he has heard about it in social media. He was like, yeah, Mom, I know who it is. I just can't pronounce the girl's name. So I knew he knew what I was referring to because I couldn't even pronounce her name at first. I'm like, how do you pronounce that name? But anyway, it's Cyntoia. I'm going to give you a little background on this case. And also, for those of you on Instagram, if you want to call in, because we are taking call-in calls tonight. Those of you on YouTube, we are also taking call-in calls tonight. So I'm going to open up the phone lines after after I finish talking and giving you all the 411 on the information, then I'm gonna cut my Instagram off because I'm gonna need my phone to go live. So just letting you guys know on Instagram, if you want to jot down the phone number, or you can just go over to my YouTube channel, Tanya Knows No Limit, and you can find the phone number there also, going across my YouTube channel. But the phone number to call in tonight is 641-715-0872. And the access code is 434478. So that's the call-in number, 641-715-0872, access code 434478. And again, it's on my YouTube channel, going across the screen. So if you're on YouTube, you don't have to write it down. It's just right there. But anyway, let me give you a little background of this information, of this story. Now, the child's name, well, she was a child then, she's now a grown woman, but her name is Cyntoia, again, Cyntoia, Cyntoia Brown. She was born to a mother who was addicted to drugs and alcohol, and the mother had, at that time, she was around the same age as Cyntoia when she committed the murder. Her mother was about 15, 16 when she got pregnant and had Cyntoia, and also addicted to drugs and alcohol, like I said, and eventually realized she could not take care of her baby. So she ended up giving her baby up for adoption. That was Cyntoia. The lady who adopted her name is Georgina, or AKA Gina Mitchell. That's Cyntoia's adopted mom. As they were explaining about Cyntoia, her life and her history and her background, they were saying, she's a complex child with horrible experiences in the 16 years of her life before, she committed that crime. Not committed a crime, but committed that crime, because she had committed crimes before then, prostituting. That's a crime right there in itself. And doing, hardcore drugs and other things that she was doing back then. But she said that she thinks her life would have been different, had it been she allowed her adoptive mom to be more active in her life. And I think what she meant by then, when I was watching the videos of her, telling her story, she was basically saying she had, grew up feeling abandoned, struggled with abandon issues, trust issues. She didn't really have any guidance per se, because she didn't allow her adoptive mom to go there with her. You know what I mean? Because, she didn't trust her. The abandonment issues, even though she adopted her at a young age, she still dealt with, serious, issues like that. So, that's why she claims, she really didn't have any guidance at a young age. Now, I think that's kind of true among most children who are adopted and given up by their parents, or neglected, or abused, or beaten, or raped, or whatever, by their parents, and then given up for adoption. They go through those struggles, of abandonment, trust issues, and whatnot. And I believe most of them actually receive counseling. I don't know how much counseling or how many years of counseling, but I do believe that they should at least receive, especially if they adopted out as a small child, once they realize they adopted, at least receive counseling to at least probably the age of 16. That's just what I think. But, excuse me. Let me get a drink. Let me get a sip. But, as I was saying, after years of being molested, because this girl went through a lot of trauma, a lot of horrible experiences. She endured years of rape, being molested, being abused, by so many people, including relatives. After years of that, Cyntoia turned to the streets and eventually ran into a guy named Cutthroat. His real name is actually Garion McGlovin. McGloven. McGlothen. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. McGloven. So Garion, who goes by the name as Cutthroat, was actually a pimp, or at least he was her pimp. I don't know if he had other women or girls working under him, but he was her pimp. But she had met him around the age of 16. She had ran away and met him, and he's 24 years old when they met. Again, he goes by the name of Cutthroat. And they started living together. They moved around a lot because, he wasn't really like working. And she was, only barely 16 years old. So they moved around a lot, stayed where they could, different hotels. And mind you, although she was being abused, throughout her life and raped and molested and beat, he was also abusive to her. And also would make, outrageous demands from her, forcing her to have sex with his friends, forcing her to have sex with as many people as she can, so that she can make as much money as she can for him. Not only was he abusive physically, but he was also abusive mentally. He forced her to prostitute herself for money. He also regularly choked her till she became unconscious, beat her, raped her. I mean, it was awful. It was awful. It's like she even around her family, she was abused, raped, molested, beat. Even by she said her adopted dad, he used to slap her around all the time and tell her, I can do it just because I want to do it. And, things like that. She endured a lot. And so I think when she met him, she thought, this man is 24 years old, probably had some kind of father, stigma with him, needed a father figure or someone like that in her life. And he ends up being an abuser as well. He also would give her like a laundry list of items that he wanted. Like, he had told her that he wanted her to make enough money to provide him with a new truck. A new truck. He wanted the big pimped out rims, the big wheels, all that. They down in Tennessee. This is where all this happened, in Tennessee. And, they down there on them big wheels and them big cars and everything. And that's what he wanted, among, other things. And so he would, make demands of her to have as much sex as she could, to make as much money as she could. And again, he would also force her to have sex with his friends too. But she was terrified. She explained how she was terrified of him, but also still too scared to leave because of his threats and because of the fact that he also knew where her family lived, where her adoptive mom and dad, they had other children. So it wasn't just them. It wasn't just her. She had sisters and brothers, by her adoptive parents. Not only was the man abusive, but like I said, he also was abusive mentally and physically and had the child brainwashed. He would explain to her, that women or girls were born to be whores, and that's what she was. She was a whore. He called her all kind of names. You're a whore, you're a slut. Nobody but him wants her. Nobody but him desires her. And the best thing was for her to do was to learn how to be the best whore she can be. Be a good whore. Be good at what you do. Perfect your whoreness. Basically, is what he would tell her. She also, and this is what she explained, to a judge in a 2012 appeal hearing, because she had appealed her sentence because this child, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty, but this child, again, she committed murder. She killed a John, and she thought that her life was in danger, and that's why she killed him. So let me give you a little background on the murder. It actually happened like August 5th, August 6th of 2004. I think August 5th was when he picked her up. And August 6th, like after midnight or somewhere around that area, was when he like died. But They were living, her and her pimp were living at a place, a motel or hotel, I think it was a motel called In Town Suites, in Nashville, Tennessee. And that is where they did most of their, getting high, having sex. She was like, this is all we normally did. If she wasn't out prostituting, trying to get some money some type of way, they spent most of their time up in the hotel just getting high as a kite, smoking everything under the sun, getting drunk, having sex. Usually him and her, but sometimes, again, he would force her to have sex with his friends. But this particular evening, he had told her that she was slacking and needed to go make some money. She was not making enough money for him. For him. Again, I don't know if she was his only, whore, per se, prostitute, working girl, whatever you want to call her. But again, he was always making demands of her to make more money. So that evening, she had made plans to go to East Nashville, which is like a primal territory for catwalking, prostitution, to find Johns. And a lot of people hung out there. So she knew that was a place where she can probably make a lot of money that night. So what she did, she left the hotel. She walked to a nearby Sonic. And while she was there, walking towards Sonic, a guy in a truck caught her attention. And she approached the truck, and of course, he was a John, and he asked her basically, would she be willing to hook up with him for that night? And she, of course, was. She was trying to get her coins that evening. So she told him a fee. I don't know what he asked for. I didn't find that in any of the stories or any of the videos I watched, but basically it was sex, some type of sex that he wanted. So she said 200. He was like, no, sis, that's too much. How about 100? She was like, nah, bruh, that's not enough. So they settled and agreed to 150. So that's how much she was charging him to do whatever she does, best. Normally prostitutes and Johns, when they hook up, if it's not at a hotel, if it's not in the John's vehicle, around the corner, in an alley, somewhere, I guess that's like normally where they would hook up. This man didn't want to go to the hotel. And I guess that's where she probably normally took guys, to the hotel, since she lived in a hotel. He wanted to go to his house. Now, that right there should have sent off some major alarms to this child. Some big red flags to this child. But it didn't. And I believe that is because she was young, for one. Her pimp didn't school her well. He was telling her, you got to be a good whore. That's what girls are born to do. You need to make sure you do your best to be a good prostitute. But I don't think he was really teaching her much besides probably how to have sex and different type of ways to have sex and how much money she should charge for sex. I don't think he schooled her as far as, protecting yourself, how to sense danger, because normally a prostitute is not going to jump in some John's car that she doesn't know from Adam and take off into the night to his house, to his home, where she has no idea who else is there, how many people live there, or what's waiting on her there. And that's why I say, again, I don't think he, schooled her too well. But anywho, on the drive to his house, they shared some small talk. Alan told her, he used to be in the Army. He was also a trained sharpshooter. He also revealed to her that information because she had told him that she was originally from Fort Campbell. And so that's when he went into, oh, you're from Fort Campbell, I used to be in the military, Once they got to his home, as Cyntoia was walking around, she noticed guns lying around. She noticed a couple of shotguns, And then while she was eating her food that he brought her from, Sonic, because that's where they met, in the Sonic parking lot. So he must have paid for her food. For some strange reason, she said he showed her a chrome gun with a black handle. She also expressed that while talking to her, it seemed as if he was trying to make her understand how much more important he was compared to her. And in her mind, I think that's when she kind of sensed maybe she shouldn't have came to this man's house, because then in her mind, and I'm sure this child could have been drunk, she could have been high. That's all her and her pimp did, was get high and get drunk and have sex. So I can imagine she was probably high. She was probably around that time calming down. She was at 8, took a road trip. She probably was coming down off her high and was thinking, oh my God, I'm in this man's house. He got shotguns. He's showing me guns. He's talking about he used to be a sharpshooter. He's basically telling all these things to her, like all these important things. I'm this, I did this, I was great at this, and she's sitting there like, he's telling me all this stuff about him, and I'm at a place where don't nobody even know where I'm at. She was like, my pimp, Cutthroat, he didn't even know where she was at. She got out, walked to Sonic, met up with this John, and left. Her family didn't know where she was. Her mother, her father, her siblings. Nobody knew where she was. Nobody. And that's when it kind of hit her like, okay, should I have came with this man, just for these coins? Now, basically, when they had, while they were conversating, they were making a little more small talk, and they headed for his bedroom. While in the bedroom, while preparing for having sex, clothes off, pre-sex stuff. While in bed, she claimed at first, he was really gentle, caressing and kiss, just being, a normal guy or whatnot, as normal as I guess a John could be, should I say. Then she said just out of the blue, he just flipped and started getting rough with her. She said he started getting rough with her and pulling on her and forcefully, and even grabbed her vagina area, like grabbed it, like whole-handed, just grabbed it and tried to force her to him, pulling at her down there and stuff. And she didn't like it, of course. She was like, what the heck is going on? What is you doing? And she kind of like started panicking. She was basically taken aback, just didn't see this coming. I don't know why. Again, like I said, her pimp didn't do a good job of schooling her about safety, obviously. Then she claims, while he was getting rough with her, she was trying to pull away, and he leaned over the bed to grab something under the bed. At that time, she really started to panic, thinking, he's grabbing a weapon or something, or I don't know, maybe grabbing some tape, some rope. She didn't know. She didn't know. So, she was panicking. She scooched away from him, a little further, close enough to reach her purse, and grabbed her gun. He didn't know she had a gun. She grabbed, and that's one good thing I can say, most streetwalkers, prostitutes, whatever you want to call them, they do normally carry weapons. She grabbed her gun and out of her purse, and she shot him. I think she shot him a couple of times. Once she realized he was dead, she grabbed her belongings, grabbed the money he was, to pay her with, grabbed his car keys to his truck, because she didn't have no way back. She got a ride with him there. He was dead. I mean, I guess she could have called the cops. Probably not, a wise choice for her, in that situation. Maybe that's what she should have done, but y'all know how it is. She did not call the cops. She grabbed his truck, his keys, took his truck, and went back to the hotel where her and her, pimp had been holed up, had been living. Now, this is the story she told the cops. And during her trial, this is the story that was told. But after their investigation, the DA and the prosecutors claimed that the John, Mr. Allen, was actually fast asleep and facing away from her when she shot him. But she claimed, even after they suggested that theory, that she never slept, that they never was asleep. That's her story. That's her story. That's their story. I want to play a piece of this video for you guys real quick. Those of you on Instagram, you can't see it because it's on my YouTube. If you want to see the video, you can go over to my YouTube channel, Tanya Knows No Limit, where I am live over there. Or you probably will still be able to hear it, though, pretty well, though. So let me go ahead and play this video. Okay, let's see. Close that. Okay. Okay, here we go. Have to get the right screen. All right, you guys. Let me go ahead and play this video for you. And while I'm playing this video for you, I'm going to step out and grab something really quick, and I'll be right back. So just watch this video. I'll be right back.
He tricked me into it. He was his best friend, and he got me. I just watched the pornos and seen when men came up to guys and started taking off the girl's clothes, the girl just lays there or does whatever and screams and all that stuff. And that's what I figured was supposed to happen. So anybody, anytime somebody wanted to have sex with me, I just did it. I felt like obligated, like that was what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? I had sex with 21 people out of the 36 where I felt that I just had to do it. It was what I was supposed to do. And 22 people out of the 36 people were hardly or not known. And 28 people are connected with a bad experience.
And Esau raped you at gunpoint?
Well, he didn't sit there fucking with the gun on my head, but it's like when I tried to leave, that's when he pulled the gun out. And I started to walk off, he just grabbed me by my arm and he had a gun in his hand. He's like, no, you're not leaving. And he pushed the gun and pulled it up or whatever. And he said, take these off. And then did it like that on my shirt. So I took my clothes off. I just got on the bed and I just lay there. I just cried.
You know, where was I when all of this was happening? Where was I? I mean, could you not come to me and talk to let me know how you was feeling? And it's just, I don't know. I'm thinking at that age, I won't say most children or even all children, but Cyntoia, I don't think she was very trusting of me. Maybe she thought that anything she confided to me about, that it wouldn't be just to me. Maybe she thought that I would share that with someone else. I don't know, because we have a good relationship. I don't understand why she felt that she couldn't come to me and talk to me, no matter what it was.
Even if I tried to tell her, she wouldn't listen. She'd probably just tell me, okay, sweetie, go play. That's what she used to always say.
No parent wants to think that their young daughter, you know, is experiencing sex, you know, especially at such a young age. And then to find out that there's been many, you know, several boys and men. But it does not change how I feel. That is my daughter. She's always going to be my daughter. No matter what she does or have done, that isn't going to change how I feel about her?
I didn't want people to know I was dumb, so I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything about this that Miss Kathy says could help me, because I didn't want people to know how dumb I was and all the dumb stuff I did. Especially this. This is dumb for some girl to have sex with 36 people, okay? 11 of those people, it was not statutory rape. There were 3 people out of 36 people that were relatives. There are 4 people out of 36 people that I actually liked or lusted for. There are 9 people out of 36 people that it was protected sex. There's 5 people out of 36 people that were girls, and there was 4 people out of 36 people that were prostitution.
Lots of girls experience some degree of sexual abuse, and it's estimated like 35% have some sexual abuse in the broad sense of some unwanted sexual activity or exposure to sexual activity as a child. Part of
because I feel like
the conversation was that not so much as her trying to confess to me, she was at a point in her life that she was feeling very helpless. She was, in essence, trying to tell me to go on with my life. Don't waste my life, trying to wait for her. She felt that she had embarrassed herself, but mainly she had embarrassed me. At that point, I could tell because I'm her mother. All she wanted was in saying, I know what my outcome is, so you go on and you do what you have to do. Don't waste it on me.
And I guess she did find herself trapped in this way. She found herself trapped between what she knew the detectives knew and could easily prove, and her dire need to make up a story about this. She knew she was had. What else can she say? What else can she say? She's taken care of the one person who could really counter this preposterous and ridiculous self-defense of her. She knows he can't say anything because this is what she did to him.
You and your partner are using all the experience and training that you have, using every technique you've been taught to get a statement from her, correct?
That's correct.
And in the very beginning of that entire process, your partner and you said, all we want is the truth.
That's correct.
And you said, if you tell me the truth, then we're going to go to the district attorney's office. Right?
That's right.
Because you had to make certain that Miss Brown understood that this was serious business.
Yes.
You were going to question her about a very serious situation. Right?
Right.
And you know from your training that you've got to start it out by saying you have the right to remain silent, because if she says, I'm not going to talk to you, that's the end of it.
Right.
But she chose to talk to you.
Correct.
You and your partner.
Yes.
22 years of police experience and a 16-year-old young lady.
Right.
Okay. Didn't you say
Okay, so that was the video of what I was trying to say earlier when my mic wasn't working on YouTube. That was the video. Those of y'all on Instagram already heard me. But that was the video I wanted you guys to see, because like I was saying earlier, when she had first went to, and she was being questioned by detectives and everything, they had told her over and over again, if you just tell us the truth, just tell us the truth, just tell us what really, really happened, we'll do our best. We'll make sure, you'll get the best, the sentence, leniency, whatever they was telling her, what they tell you, the detectives, you work with us, we work with you, all of that. She never was even read her rights. Never. Like, she just was spilling stuff and talking, and she's underage. So, and I'm not saying, that she deserves a slap on the wrist for, what happened. Excuse me. I'm not saying that, because she did kill somebody. She was prostituting, doing drugs, all kind of things that she was doing that evening. But she claims it was self-defense. She claims she was scared of her life. She claimed she thought he was pulling a weapon, from underneath the bed. And she panicked. He had started getting rough with her, started, grabbing her forcefully, by her private area, vagina area. And he was doing all this, that, and the third with her and getting aggressive. And she panicked. Now, only them and God knows what really happened in that room. The detectives, the prosecutors, the DA, they tried to close out the case saying, he was asleep. facing away from her. She just pulled a gun over him and shot him in cold blood murder. And that's my doorbell. That's why I had got up a little bit earlier while that video was running, because I knew my son's friend was coming over to spend the night. But anywho, the jury only deliberated for 6 hours. 6 hours. They only deliberated for 6 hours. She was found guilty on first-degree murder. She was found guilty on felony murder. She was found guilty on aggravated robbery. She essentially got sentenced to life. She got sentenced to life. And when the video, was it the second video I showed you? She had called her mom. That was her adopted mom, by the way. The lady, at the desk. That was her adoptive mom, Gina. And she had called her mom when she told her, I can't show you the whole video, but if you want to check it out, look up Cyntoia's story part 1 and part 2. That's just 2 of the videos that are out there. There's a lot of them out there. But look up Cyntoia's story, Cyntoia apostrophe S, Cyntoia's story, part 1 and part 2 on YouTube. And you can follow that. Check out that video. It gives a lot of detail. Some of the information is graphic. That's why I said I can't show too much of the video. But I just think it's so sad how, like, a lot of people were saying, you know what? There's so many people who get charged for rape, and they get like slap on the wrist. Like, really, they get like a slap on the wrist. And one particular person has said, I don't know if y'all remember the name of that guy. It was a white guy, and he had raped a lady on a campus. I believe they were at college. And I'm trying to find this story. Let me see if I can find the story. Okay, here it is. Okay. He had raped, I'm sure y'all probably heard about it. It was a few years ago. He had raped somebody on his campus. She was passed out drunk, like sloppy drunk. And he had raped her. And his name was, let me get his name. Okay, Brock Turner. That's what his name was. Brock Turner. He got 3 years. He had raped an unconscious girl. But for some reason, they did not want to ruin his life by giving him a lot of time. He got like 3 years. Yeah, I'm sure, again, some of y'all probably remember that story. The girl was unconscious. He raped her. And he got a slap on the wrist. That's what I call a slap on the wrist. This young girl, Cyntoia Brown, at the age of 16, after suffering years and years of abuse herself, thought her life was in danger. Granted, I understand she probably shouldn't have been out there. Well, she shouldn't have been out there prostituting. That was the life that she, that was the path that she followed, unfortunately. And that night, she thought that she was going to die. And she pulled a gun on the John, and she killed him. They gave her life. They told her she has to serve at least 51 years before she's even eligible to try to get out of that prison. Also, a lot of celebrities, as I said earlier in my life, has been petitioning, pleading with the courts to give her clemency. Not only people like Rihanna and Kim Kardashian, but even T.I., they've been posting on their social media, free Cyntoia Brown, and other celebrities too. Not only celebrities, but even the Nashville, Tennessee state senator, Brenda Gilmore. She has joined, a list of people requesting clemency for Cyntoia Brown. She and, some lawmakers, they held a conference the other Friday. They wanted Governor Bill Haslam to grant Brown clemency because they believe, like a lot of people, is not the right thing to do for this young woman. I personally want to hear y'all thoughts on the situation and y'all thoughts on the story. Again, I said I would open the phone lines, after I, went over everything, so you guys could know, as much as you can, in this small amount of time we have on this live. But she basically was saying, what, this lady, she was trapped in a prostitution, a victim of child sex trafficking, when she shot and killed Jimmy Allen. That night, again, just to reiterate, for those of you who are just coming in, Cyntoia Allen was out prostituting, looking for some money for her pimp. Allen picked up Cyntoia, who was 16 years old at that time, at the Sonic drive-thru on Murfreesboro Pike, and brought her to his home. She had requested they go to a hotel. He insisted they go to his home. I guess he felt safer there. He knew nobody was going to be there. That's what he told her. The two of them got into bed together, and at that point, Brown ended up killing Allen. She claimed self-defense, but prosecutors maintain that she killed him, just to steal money from him. And they were thinking that because, the man was well off. He was doing well for himself. He was a real estate agent. He used to be in the military, and they feel like she just tried to rob him. I don't know. If y'all been following this story over the years, let me know how y'all feel about it. Like I said, this has just, been trending like crazy, over the last couple of weeks because of the fact a lot of people are requesting clemency for Cyntoia Brown. The Supreme Court said last week that she could become eligible for parole, but again, that's after 51 years because she got life. But they think she served long enough. She was arrested in 2004. It is now 2018, about to be 2019. So 14 years she's been locked up, from a child to now a grown woman. It's just, I think personally that she should be granted clemency. I think personally, I just don't believe she killed that man in cold blood. I just don't. I really don't. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. Again, only God knows, and them too, what happened in that room. She claimed self-defense. The DA and them say she did it on purpose. She killed him cold-blooded to steal some money from him, a couple of $100 that he was going to give her anyway. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all feel. If y'all want to call in, I can open up the phone lines. Let me know if you want to call in, if you want to make a comment about it, or you can just put your comments in the chat, whichever you prefer. But if nobody want to call in, then I'm not going to turn on the call-in line because, again, it just be draining my phone battery. And plus, I'm on Instagram right now on my phone, so if I do turn on the call lines, I have to, turn off my Instagram, and then you guys have to run over real quick to the YouTube channel. Tanya Knows No Limit. But another thing, like I said, I believe that she was probably high and drinking that night because that's what they normally did, was get high and get drunk and just have sex up in that hotel room, her and her pimp and whoever he, told her to have sex with. But also, her attorneys, had even argued that her mother's intense alcohol drinking while pregnant, left the teen with a developmental disorder. That could be what caused her behavior that day. Her mother was smoking. She was smoking. She was drinking heavily. She was doing hard drugs, throughout the pregnancy. When she was, and then after she had the baby, she realized she couldn't take care of her. She was addicted to drugs and alcohol, and she gave her up for adoption. But they said evidence of that disorder, which they said is characterized as a severe mental disease and defect, has even lowered her IQ. But none of this was brought up during the trial. None of this was given to the jury during the trial. Also, don't forget, never gave her rights. This was a child, barely 16 years old. But her case, her case was so big, and it was so much concern throughout the country, throughout the world, that, in 2011, it was a documentary, detailing her life, everything that she'd been through up until the killing and, behind bars. It also helped gain momentum for legislation, against life sentences for juvenile offenders. So that was a plus in the right direction, I believe, because I do believe that a lot of juvenile offenders should not receive life. But it also, again, depends on what the charges was, what they did to get locked up. Heck, a lot of grown folks don't deserve life for what they did. But then we talk about kids. But again, it depends on what exactly they did to get locked up, to get behind bars. But since she's been in prison, since like 2000. This happened in like 2004. So she's been in prison since like 2005 ish. And so about 15 years. And they said she's always been a model prisoner. Since she's been placed behind bars, she mentors other women. She got her associate degree. So, she's like a model citizen, a model prisoner, even though she's behind bars. So again, a lot of people, including the senators and people like Rihanna and Kim Kardashian and T.I., all are supporting this young lady. That everybody's out there hashtagging free Cyntoia Brown on their social media sites. If you believe that she should be released, go ahead. Support her. Hashtag free Cyntoia Brown. Cyntoia Brown. Brown. They don't really know what really struck some of the celebrities to certainly, learn about the case, because a lot of people, again, don't remember the case, or they heard about it a long time ago and just forgot it. It was just in the back of their heads, but lately, like I said, it has been, reignited, and it's all over social media. Look her name up. You can find hundreds and hundreds of posts and videos on this young lady and, the crime that she did and her conviction, everything she went through growing up, from being molested, raped, abused by, her father, family members, her pimp, a lot of other people. By the age of 15, this young lady had sex with almost 40 people. She went through a lot. That's no excuse. To just go out and murder people. But again, y'all check out the story. Y'all watch the videos. And y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Cyntoia Brown should be granted clemency? Do y'all think Cyntoia Brown deserves a second chance? Do y'all? That's what I want to know from you guys. Who are just coming in on the Instagram and on the YouTube live. Please rewind the video all the way to the front, all the way to the beginning, so you can hear the whole story on this big story that's been basically going around social media, trending in the news, trending on social media, regarding convicted murderer Cyntoia Brown. Does she deserve a second chance? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. No comments or nothing in the chat saying somebody wants to call in. So we're not going to take calls. Last call for alcohol, as they say in the club. Last call, last chance to make a call, and let me know how you feel over the phone. But you don't have to call if you don't want to. Put your comment in the chat. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you remember this from back in the day. You know, this was like 15 years ago. Some people were little kids back then when this happened, so they might not know anything about this case. But again, please rewind the video if you are just coming in and watch it from the beginning. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you are not already subscribed. I got 2 YouTube channels, Tanya Knows No Limit and Tanya's Primetime TV Media Reviews. So please make sure you subscribe to both of my channels. That goes for you guys on Instagram who are watching me right now as well. And those of you on YouTube, my Instagram is Tanya Primetime TV. Just Tanya, no S, just Tanya Primetime TV. All one word. All one word. So you guys, I enjoyed speaking to you guys tonight, bringing you another a review on some trending news, my take on some trending news. And as usual, in the meantime and in between time, Primetime Squad, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Deuces.